Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, earlier in the spring, we had a guest on, I think you'll recall, Randy Boyd.
Yes, I remember Randy.
Thurston Boyd Interior Design.
Yep.
So Randy moved into our area from California. He is an interior designer, Thurston Boyd Interior Design.
Right.
And since he's been here, you know, he's gotten pretty busy. And I had the privilege of working with Randy in locating a home. And he settled in Cotswold.
Okay.
Which is a great area, beautifully built homes. And some of them need updating and some of them did not. Well, he took this property to the next level, and his home was actually featured in Pine Straw magazine.
I remember that.
And he told me that I think there's a garden issue coming out, and I think his outdoor environment is going to be featured in Pine Straw. I believe it's this autumn.
Okay.
So Randy and I stayed in touch, and we spoke, and he was looking to turn this unfinished second level of his home into a working office. It was basically just set up for storage. There was a stairwell to get up, but it was unfinished.
Okay.
And his idea was to add an office, finish the upstairs to a nice degree, which would also increase his value because he was increasing his heated square footage.
Right.
So he kept talking to me about this guy that he met who he said, you need to meet him, you need to meet him. And if he said it once, he said it, I don't know, 15 times. Well, I finally got a chance to meet him. We had lunch the other day, and I'm talking about Matt Encinosa of Noble Oaks Companies. And when I went over to Randy's to look at the finished project, which was an office and a full bathroom,
wow,
I was blown away at the detail, at the form, at the function. I was so impressed. And Randy, you have to understand, is exceptionally discerning and very, and I say very with capital letters, particular. And so be it. I mean, that's his profession. That's his job.
Right.
When he looks at a room, he scans it like an MRI machine, and he envisions what needs to go here, what needs to go there. He has a tremendous sense of perspective. No surprise that he's a successful interior designer.
Nope.
And no surprise that he selected my guest, Matt Encinosa. So, Matt, I had heard about you from Randy. I really was impressed with the job that you did.
Oh, thank you.
You created a wonderful, light and airy living space that served Randy as a very functional office. It was more like a studio than an office, right? Because it meandered. And Randy took me in the house, and, you know, we were talking, and he couldn't wait to show it to me. So we went outside in the back, and there was a separate entrance that was not in the garage, if I recall. Okay. Tell me about the conversation you had with him, because Noble Oaks is a newer company.
Yes, we are.
And you specialize in remodeling, renovations.
We do.
Give me the list of the things that you are on your menu, so to speak.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. It's been great to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
And thanks for all that you do to inform us here locally in Moore County about what's going on.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that so my wife and I started Noble Oaks together, and she is the licensed general contractor. She's the boss. I jokingly say that I sort of clean up around the job sites, but I'm on the job sites just about every day. And she's the license holder, and she's been in the industry for a little over a decade now in both commercial and residential construction.
Right.
And so when we started Noble Oaks earlier this year, it really came out of kind of a personal experience being we're not from Moore County originally, but we've been here since 2013. So we sort of feel like locals. I don't want to offend any true local by calling ourselves locals, but we do feel like we're local to the area.
Yeah.
And so sort of out of our own experience working in the construction world and also being homeowners and needing to have projects done on the place, we thought, well, what if we started our own general contracting firm, and our business model was centered around the silly idea of calling people back and showing up when we say we're going to be there, and we laughed about that. And then the more we thought about it, the more we just said, let's do it. And so we did. And it was with this project that you've referenced at 2 Chalford, Mark and Randy, just fantastic guys to work with.
Right.
We had already known them as friends. And I had done some sort of handyman work for them on the side a little bit. And so when they heard that we were starting our company, they said, Randy said, hey, we've had this idea of finishing out the attic. It's an unfinished attic space. And I'd been up there many times.
Great space. Yeah.
Great space, massive space. And I had even joked with them about they've got a whole other house up here. But it really was completely unfinished, no HVAC, nothing. And so when they sort of cast the vision of what they wanted up there, a workspace for Randy and his design firm, a full bathroom, we were really excited about the project as well. And we sort of went home from that. I don't know I can't remember I don't think it was a formal meeting. We were just sitting around and they were telling us about what they wanted to do, and Jamie and I went home and we kept noodling on it as well. And then I think we set up a formal meeting to pitch them some ideas about what it could be, and from there it was just a great experience of pulling this thing together. For anyone that hasn't built in an attic, it's there are a couple of unique challenges. One, you have a living space below where people are actively living in it. And so working in a space where you're doing construction, but you also have to be mindful to the tenants of the home. And then it is an attic, so access is also a little bit of a challenge. And so you went up into the space.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember going up the stairwell that has a relatively tight turn. And before we built it out, there was a lot more space, and then you get in there and frame these walls in, and you have to start negotiating how you're getting things in and out up there. But yeah, the finished product was something that we were delighted in, and we were thrilled when Randy said, "Hey, we're having a garden party to invite all our friends over to show off the new space. Do you want to come?" And that was a real treat to just walk up there and stand in the back and see him ogling over his new space as well.
Yeah. I'm interested in how the interview process went, because Randy's very specific. When he has a vision, he has a very detailed mind, and I'm sure there were certain things as he communicated to you. You as a contractor have to be very good at speaking to other people's listening. And I'm sure you picked up right away the best discourse to have with him in order to get from here to there.
Well, I will say, we already had an established relationship with Randy. So certainly, I don't think it was necessarily that he was starting from let me pull out a phone. I'm dating myself. Let me pull out a phone book here and just start looking for contractors. He had seen the quality of my work personally as a handyman.
Okay.
And when I say quality of the work, I guess I would refer probably more to the I'm going to see this through. I'm going to get it done to your satisfaction. And so I think there was that established rapport that certainly helped. And when we came in after that initial idea, again, they heard that we were starting our own company, and they said, "Would you guys want to do this?" We put it all on paper and put some designs together and got to go in and talk to them. And I think, again, you're right. Randy is very particular in a amazing way, and I've had a couple of conversations with him. Randy, how do you have this eye? How do you develop that eye for what should be where? Yeah. So, and I guess in another sense, if we, on other projects we work with other designers, when we're finishing out, we've done a couple of other unfinished spaces that clients have asked us to finish out for them, and so. Sometimes they say, no, we just want a basic room. Just put up some drywall and finish it.
90-degree angles everywhere. Right.
And other times clients will say, no, we have a specific idea of what this space needs to be. We just need help on the beauty of it and how it's going to come to life. And as a general contractor, we can take that to a certain point, but we also know where our strengths and weaknesses are. And where we need to partner with other people in the community. And so Thurston Boyd is a great example of a designer in the community that you could say, in one sense, on this particular project, we also partnered with Thurston Boyd.
That's right.
Right, in getting it done. Because Randy had his own ideas of, hey, I want... the ceiling is a great example. If you recall, it's not just a flat ceiling.
No, it's not.
Which would have been a lot less expensive, by the way. But Randy said, no, we're going to open this up. We're going to have these vaulted ceilings.
That's right.
We're going to have all of these very interesting angles. He really wanted to follow what was already there, the roof pitches that were in place, the structures that were already in place, and it was. That certainly made the job a lot more interesting as we were in there framing and then drywalling. But you get in there and get into the space, and I think it's one of the more interesting parts of the experience of walking through the space. Your eyes are instantly drawn upward to a lot of very interesting angles and pitches. What it does for the light in the space, you've got those beautiful...
the light was terrific.
Yeah, you've got those skylights that were added into the roof line there, and so he is particular in what he wants. But when you see his vision come to life, it's amazing how it brings life into that space.
Yeah. One of the questions I always wanted to ask Randy, and I didn't, and I'm going to ask you. And I've been thinking about it. Before you started the project, was there ever a conversation with him about tying a stairwell from inside the lower level to access the attic space upstairs? Or was it always a conversation about having an exterior entrance separate from the main living area on the main floor?
I think we may have brought it up at one point. Perhaps if you've been inside their home, there's that hallway that comes back toward where the
garage and the bathroom
is, and we mentioned at one point, we could just bring that stairwell, try to navigate it somehow to connect to that existing hallway, and he seemed not interested in that. And I don't know if that was because he just likes things the way they were down there, or if he did not want to disturb their living space for this project. I'm not completely sure there, but
well, I'm being in the real estate business, I'm always obsessed with resale, and what he's done is he's added, how many square feet was that upper level?
If you don't include what we called the foyer, the entranceway and the stairs, I think it was right around 500 square feet.
Okay.
Finished space. There's a massive storage space,
still.
Two massive storage areas that are outside of what we finished in the attic.
Yeah, that adds a ton of value and resale potential to the home by adding 500 square feet. But in addition to having an office, if, let's say, people pivot, they move on, and he were to move into a single-family home, now he's got a property that could have a separate guest bedroom and bath with a separate entrance to entertain if friends are visiting, or somebody who's looking to buy the home who may have grandchildren.
Right.
You have this separate living space that doesn't interfere with the main level, so it offers a lot more utility.
Right.
Than it was.
And we know you can't call it a bedroom by code because it doesn't fit those specific code requirements. But there's certainly
you can use it.
There's
sure.
plenty, and we did try to not try. We built when you come up those stairs, you come around the corner and you look to the left. There's this little alcove that could at someday function as a closet, and so we tried to make accommodations if Randy or a future owner were to come back and say we do want this to either just function as a living space, or yes, we want it to be able to label it on a listing as a bedroom.
Yeah.
We tried to make accommodation to where we could come back and with relative ease and relatively low cost make that conversion. For Randy's purposes, it was going to be a workspace, an office, a place where he could host clientele. That's right. And show off that unbelievable wallpaper in the bathroom in there. And so, we said, okay, this is good for this goal, this project.
Even if it was never labeled a bedroom, there's no law against somebody sleeping in that space.
For sure.
Our guest is Matt Encinosa from Noble Oaks Companies. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set. Our guest is Matt Encinosa with Noble Oaks Companies. We were talking about a project he completed recently in Cotswold for interior designer Randy Boyd, Thurston Boyd. I have a feeling you'll be doing work for him as he is working with other clients in the village of Pinehurst and Southern Pines in the southern Moore County area. So
we'd be delighted to. He did mention that
I'm
possibility.
Sure.
So.
Well, I think he's the type of person that he's very loyal. This is my take. I think when he is invested in somebody, he's very loyal. And tell me, how did you come up with the name Noble Oaks? I like the name.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
I'm glad you like it. We love it, of course. So our last name, Encinosa, it means keeper of the great oaks. So the Encinosas immigrated from Cuba in 1893. I've actually seen the shipping manifest with Mateo's name on it, where he was 15 years old when he came over with his siblings and his parents. And they immigrated into the States. Anyway, and we can trace the family history specifically back that far, but supposedly we came from Spain long before that to Cuba. And anyway, Encinosa means keeper of the great oaks, and it either means that we had maybe an oak plantation there that we were the caretakers of, or we were perhaps caretakers in someone's estate.
Okay.
And there's a particular oak tree in Spain that supposedly was known to be found on the grounds or on the estates of the nobility. And so as we learned more and more about that interesting little tidbit of our family history, that particular idea of a noble oak has just sort of sat in the back of our mind. And when we were looking for a company name, this sort of kept coming to the forefront. And, we live here in the land of the pines.
Right.
So we thought, well, it's either going to set us apart from all of the pine-themed names, or it's going to be something that people go, what are they doing here? So far, I don't know if there's been any actual meaning there, but
it's got
for us, it's been great.
So it's got a regal name. The card is regal. Your logo is beautiful. I think that you're telling a story with the name and with the image, and the type of renovations that you want to do. they're not just geared towards interior designers. They're geared towards any homeowner in a home, whether it be a $400,000 home or a $1.2 million home. You're not putting yourself in a corner with a specific type of client. Your skill set will carry over to anybody to do different types of jobs within their home.
Well, that is certainly our hope, is to serve the needs of the person, the client. They come to us and they present their opportunity. We want to meet their desires. We want to meet their goals, whatever their vision is. I would say we don't just want to meet that vision, but hopefully exceed that and help them figure out how to elevate whatever they're looking to do, so that when the project is all said and done, they look at it and go, "This is better than I could have ever have imagined."
What are some of the things that people who will have a conversation with you that they want to do with their home to improve it? What are some of the requests that you get?
We have a lot of conversations with. It seems recently, and you could imagine because of the season that we're in right now, being at summertime and earlier on, especially late in the spring, early in the summer, we were having a lot of conversations with people about transforming their outdoor living spaces, and some of it would be, maybe fixing up the exterior of their home. We're about to kick off a full home exterior renovation for some clients here in the Pinehurst area, where we're going to be adding some decks for outdoor living spaces, but they also want to completely redo the siding on their home and all of the eaves and the soffits, and new gutter drainage systems.
Okay.
Building and framing a screened porch on an existing deck. But then it came around to the front of the home, and they said, well, we're doing all of this work to really elevate the back of the house where we want to spend time hosting.
Right.
But that would mean that the front of the home would no longer match. I mean, we're doing all this work to make the rear part of the house beautiful and enjoyable. We want people to have that feeling when they walk up to the home as well. So we were able to say, okay, here are all the great ideas we're doing in the back. How can we bring that sense of hospitality and that peace, that invitation into our place where we want to host? How can we set the stage there when people walk into our house, when people walk up? So taking the front facade of the home and really tying that into those ideas, redoing their front porch, even with some of the landscaping around the porch in the area, get into some of that design element. So we've been having a lot of those kinds of conversations,
right?
And that's been really, really fun. I love the challenge and the adventure of hearing what the client wants and then getting into that creative space with them.
Yeah. What about inside the home, bathroom, kitchen remodels? Is that in your wheelhouse, so to speak?
Now, when you get into things like, especially kitchens, but also bathrooms, you do really have to lean into function.
Yeah.
And so you think about form and function, and I'm a firm believer that they should both work together.
Right.
There are a lot of different philosophies on that, and if you were to go look it up, you could spend hours on the internet reading different people's philosophies. Yeah. And I wouldn't say I have mine tied or nailed down, because I try to keep an open mind about this stuff. But when you're in a kitchen space, when you pull something out of a dishwasher, you pull a plate out of a dishwasher, you don't want to have to walk all the way around to the other side of the kitchen to put that plate away, for instance. So if I want to be able to pull something out of the dishwasher and turn around and put it in a cabinet where it lives, how can I accomplish that without making the kitchen feel like I'm just stuck in a tiny galley space? Or if I am limited to what we would call a galley kitchen, what can we use to open that up and make it feel like it's bigger than it maybe is, maximizing all of those opportunities. So those kinds of things come into play when you're talking about the design before you go in to build something.
The type of design and the form and the function that you're talking about for people who are in a home who plan to stay there is one thing. But then you also have clients who maybe wanting to get their home ready for resale. A whole different set of rules for that, correct?
Yes, correct. And getting things, whether you're just talking about sprucing it up or maybe you're going into a much more significant overhaul to renovate a whole place. You want to turn it into maybe a vacation rental property, or you want to just get on the market and get top dollar for it. Certainly different set of rules. Now you're looking at you've got some demolition cost and whatnot that's going on in there.
Yeah.
But you're also looking at what are, I don't want to say current trends, because a trend is something that will inevitably come to an end. But you want to.
That's very well said. I agree with you 100% on that.
You want to look at the things that are going to fit for who your primary clientele might be. You know, is this a place where a single family is likely to move? Okay, well then, how are we going to make this space and this home attractive to that particular demographic?
Yeah.
Or, you know, is it going to be something else? And so, and by the way, I wouldn't say that we at Noble Oaks are the experts on these things, but we do know how to listen, and we do know how to find the people and partner with the people that are the experts so that we can meet the need for the client.
So listening and understanding the client's lifestyle is a very important part of the process, isn't it? Knowing their lifestyle.
Wouldn't it be great if more people listened?
Yeah, yeah, right. And you know, one of the biggest complaints I hear from clients who have had experiences with certain contractors is they have too much of an ego. They bring too much to the table. They want to do it their way, and they don't listen to the client as much. And it's the client that is running the show, and then it's your job to execute. But in a conversation with them, within reason. But if you understand the client's lifestyle, isn't it easier to get on the same page rhythm-wise?
Absolutely. And I have also heard this, that from folks that we've worked with or friends and family that we've spoken to as we've started our company, this idea that, man, I talked to this contractor or I called these contractors and I just felt like it was all about them and their ego and what they were going to do for me. That I don't understand that. Maybe it's because I'm ignorant, but I don't understand. You know, certainly as a business owner, if I want to build my business, I need to.
It's not ignorance. It means you're sensible.
Well, I need to meet the demand of the community. You know, if I want to actually get the work, and so I think there is a high demand for a good contracting work, especially in our area.
Yep.
So when I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, or maybe believe the best, perhaps it's just that people are super busy and they're maybe. They can only take on the jobs they want to take on. I don't know. But I have also heard that as well, and we don't want to be the people that are bringing in all of our ideas over your ideas, but also we're learners. I mean, we there's so much we have yet to learn about.
Don't you get tired of learning?
I actually don't.
Oh, good, because you're gonna do it your whole life. Trust me. Hey, we're gonna go to the third set in a minute. This is All Things Moore County. We're speaking with Noble Oaks Company, Matt Encinosa. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our third and final set of All Things Moore County with Matt Encinosa. Matt, you're a great spokesperson. No, really. I mean, you have a lot of things to share, and I want to get you to share some more things about what you do. When you went into a job like Randy's, do you go in and do you price the job out up front, or do you set a percentage over cost? How do you work that out? What does that conversation look like with Randy or with anybody else?
That's a great question, and I have to give the credit here to my wife, Jamie, who, like I said before, she's the licensed general contractor, and she's formerly been in this industry for, I want to say, about 12 years now, a little
Right.
over 12 years now.
Right.
She started in commercial construction and then moved into residential construction. Anyway, so her experience in the field has really helped us a lot to get our company off of the ground. But to answer your question, we go in and we get you have to collect all of the data, you have to collect all the information. What does the client want? Get all of the measurements, get all the pictures, and then we go into further research mode. I think there are probably some more experienced GCs out there that they have their mental library, or they have written formulas where they can figure these things out more quickly, and we're building that earnestly and honestly as we go along and do it. But we try to put a whole budget together. Basically, we add our contingency in there, and then we present that to the client. And hey, here's what we think we can do the job for. And if we're in the ballpark, then we will present a formal estimate. Sometimes, depending on the scope of the job, there's a small fee associated with that formal estimate. The first part of, hey, we think we can do your job in this sort of range, that's free. We do that for anybody, no problem. It's going to take us a couple of hours to pull all of that together. So far, maybe if it was a larger, like a really large-scale job, there might be something of a cost associated with that, just for the time factor.
What about this? I'm sure it comes up a lot. Change orders, upgrades as you go. Things happen. You have a period of discovery, and then you want to involve the homeowner in the conversation. How does that work?
Well, whether it's discovery, like we had to take down a wall and we found something we didn't expect to find it, now we have to deal with.
Yep.
Or it's discovery like the client comes and says, hey, I saw this thing on Instagram the other day and I really want to include this feature in my build. Either way, it'll result in what we would call a change order, which just means we're changing the scope of the project. And it could be a big change, it could be a little change, but ultimately it's probably going to reflect in the cost somewhere. Of course, we would love to say, hey, actually we're going to save money. And that has happened when we find opportunities to spend less money, or if we get to the end of the job and it hasn't, and it's coming under budget, great. That results in a credit on the overall cost of the job. But either way, there's a change order, and ideally, each of those gets documented. Each of those gets whatever the primary form of communication is with the client at that point, emailed or written or some way. It gets documented and it gets agreed upon. Ideally, every time we'll do that. Have there been occasions where the idea of a change order happens and it doesn't get documented? Yes, sometimes those things fall through the cracks. But there is ultimately an accounting for it, and so far we've been really privileged to work with clients who are great to work with, and they're also involved enough in the project with us to where we're all on top of these things. Really, our goal is that there are no surprises. It's almost inevitable that a change order is going to happen because you just can't know everything.
That's right.
And so what we really want, more important than making sure every change order gets documented, although that's important, what we really want is when we get to the end of the project and it's time to write that final check, that there's no surprises for the client. If they see, oh my gosh, this came in and it's somewhere I wasn't anywhere near expecting to have to pay for this, that's a major failure on our part as a contractor.
So I'm going to represent the homeowners of the world.
Okay.
And the kind of feedback.
I want to as well, by the way, but let's go, yeah.
All right. The kind of feedback that I get sometimes from homeowners who have had an experience of doing any type of remodel or improvement is some of the things that come up with. The communication was never great.
We've heard this, yes.
When a start date is issued, many times a contractor will not issue a completion date. And so it's open-ended. Many contractors do not keep good records, and the paperwork is not done appropriately, and that leads to misunderstandings at the end when it's time for the final check, and they don't have a paper system accurate enough or meticulous enough to make sure that everybody is on the same page every day, so there are no surprises.
Right. You bring up a really good point about the organization and the record keeping and the communication.
Yeah.
And so this is where, again, I have to champion my wife, Jamie. I think we make a really good team.
Yep.
I'm a people person.
Yep.
I am the extrovert. I am a relationship builder. Like, that's who I am at my core. I love people. I love being with people. It brings me energy.
Yeah.
I love asking questions. I love learning about your story. And I also love the idea of hospitality and making you feel comfortable and helping you have a joyful and a peaceful experience in whatever setting we're in. Jamie is a logic-minded person. She's analytical. She loves to make lists. The only thing that brings her more joy beyond making a list is checking things off of the list and completing the list. Right?
I love that. Yeah.
So she's the record keeper, and she is extremely organized. And we just celebrated 15 years of marriage together.
Okay.
And I am delighted to say that over that time, she has really helped me learn how to be more organized as well. So anyway, all to say, I think we make a good team in this particular industry because we can bring more confidently some of those organizational skills so that the records are kept well and the communication stays on point. Because you're right, we have also heard this, like the communication was horrible, or you talk about an end date. Well, we hope that the end date is this. And the project we were referencing earlier with Randy at Thurston Boyd, we had an end date. There was an issue with one of the doors that we ordered. The doors came in, and they weren't right, and they were special orders. So it wasn't like we could just run down to the hardware store and pick up more. It added 3 weeks. Onto the project, and that was really disappointing for everybody, the client especially, and so we did everything we could to speed up that process. But so we say we think this project will take X amount of weeks, and then as things come up, if things come up, and for the listener, I on behalf of all contractors out there, I just invite you to bring a little bit of open-mindedness in there to realize things will come up. Well, but as things come up, we communicate that, and hopefully, again, there are no surprises.
So my guess is that all of this stuff is communicated up front before a project starts, so you're managing the client's expectations. So there's no deer in the headlights look,
Ideally,
6 weeks into it, and where did we get sideswiped with the door delivery? How come it didn't come in properly? Right. And but those things happen.
Right. And we've had occasions on some of our jobs where we realize too late that we've made a mistake. Yeah. And man, I hate that. I hate realizing, I've done something. Yeah. It's my fault. It's on me that I have. That's now going to negatively impact this job or this process. I don't think any human being likes that, but every human being is going to experience it. And so what do you do in those moments? Well, you just have to deal with it. You walk right up to the client, explain what happened. You own up to it. You make your apology. You communicate the plan you have in place. I recommend that if there are any other newer contractors listening, that would be a recommendation. Try to put a plan or a solution in place before you communicate what the problem is, because that's going to be their very next question after they get over the shock of the disappointment is asking, so what are you going to do about it? So have a plan in place and do the best you can to own up to it. And if there's a cost associated with it and it truly is my fault, well, that's on me. I have to pay for that.
That's right. Tell me very briefly about your team. I mean, it's not just you going in. You've got a team of subs, I guess, that work under you, that you bring to the table, plumbers, electricians, tile people, whatever the job calls for.
Right. Well, being that, so we've been here in Moore County since 2013. Yeah. So over that 13 years now that we've been here, we've had the opportunity to built a lot of relationships with local subcontractors and vendors and suppliers. And again, especially Jamie, because she's the one that's primarily been in this industry as long as she has. And so that has really been, again, we're not starting from scratch with like a blank canvas and trying to go out and find, I need to find somebody to drywall this huge commercial building. Well, no, we already have those relationships. We have those lists of people. Not only do we objectively know that they exist, but we've seen their work. And in many cases, we've worked with them before. At the very least, we've worked with people in the industry that have all worked with them. And so we know the reputations, we know the quality of the work.
Right. So you bring a posture to the job of one-stop shopping, where they don't have to reach outside of you to complete a job. That they give it to you and you run with it.
Right. Okay. We think that that's a benefit for the client to where you're not having to spend the time coordinating with a bunch of trades and figuring out who's going to do what and when they're going to be there and managing the schedule. Yeah. That's part of the service that we provide. And then there have been occasions where a client has insisted that they're going to run one part themselves, and I can just tell you every time it creates problems.
Right. Yeah. I need to know if people want to reach out to you.
Sure.
How can they get a hold of you, and where can they get information about Noble Oaks?
Great. So our website is nobleoaks.co. Noble, N-O-B-L-E, Oaks, O-A-K-S.co. There's no M on the end of that, just .co. And then we're on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Noble Oaks.
Okay. And your email address, I'm going to get that too.
Yep. So my first name is Matt with one T, actually. So it's just M-A-T at nobleoaks.co.
Oh, it's the same as a website?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You threw me when you said that was your website, because I think I had sent you an email to that last night, but you did get it.
I did.
Okay. Yeah. I wish you a lot of luck. I hope a lot of people call you and have you over for a consultation or a visit, or at least that initial conversation, because that's the way you network and you connect with people, and you start an adventure. You start perhaps an experience that will come to fruition in a good way.
We hope it's more than just a transaction.
Yeah. Matt, thanks for coming in. Noble Oaks Companies, they're here in Moore County, and you sound more like an English professor than you do a contractor. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week. Thank you.